people choose to live on the margins of society. Others have no choice. This woman has made caring for the needy her life's work. But no matter how hard she tries to save them, she cannot save herself. In true crime, investigation and conviction may take years. But every detective knows that the crucial clue is always there, somewhere in the first 72 hours. In a quiet park on the outskirts of Brampton, Ontario, detectives John Nielsen and Frank Roselli arrive at the scene of a suspicious death.
We received information that a body had been discovered in the park. We're dispatched to see if, in fact, it is a homicide.
A delivery man tells police that soon after he found the body, he called 911.
The biggest problem that we encountered right off the bat was that there was no identification on the body. We had no idea who this was.
The investigators have no trouble determining the cause of death.
It's immediately evident that she suffered 3 gunshot wounds to the left side of her head. It's almost as if the gun has been placed right onto the skin because there's contact wounds right there.
When you get somebody up close like that, then there's something very deep and very personal involved in the motive, usually.
The victim's body reveals other clues as well.
There's no defensive wounds, there's no bruising anywhere, so she hasn't been involved in a physical confrontation or an assault. Her defenses are down and she hasn't fought back. It would make us think that maybe she was caught off guard.
So with that information, we concluded, okay, this appears that it's a homicide, and let's rock and roll.
A forensic officer determines the victim has been dragged here and dumped.
When we did an expanded search from the location of the body, there was one part of the fence that clearly looked like someone had leaned on it and bent it down.
Police decide a vehicle was also involved. They find a notebook that gives them a lead towards the identity of the victim, an address of a local group home for the underprivileged. When police question an employee at the group home, she identifies the victim as social worker Kathy Fuller.
The co-worker tells us that she took a very keen interest in the residents in the house.
This was a woman who really cared about humanity. She spent her work time caring for people, but she also cared for people in her own time. She did things like volunteer at the food bank and several other social service agencies.
The employee tells police Kathy Fuller didn't just work with the underprivileged, she opened her home to them as well.
She obviously cared for people working in the group home and opening her home to outsiders who needed shelter. And many of the people who lived there with her and rented rooms from her were sort of on the edge of society.
Investigators go to Fuller's house to interview her tenants.
These were basically either week-to-week or month-to-month people. They themselves were experiencing financial difficulties, and some of those people had in fact had conflicts with the law.
One of Fuller's tenants is a young man named Jason Hutchison. When he learns his landlady has been murdered, Hutchison thinks he knows who did it. He says Fuller and her former husband, Doug, have been going through a nasty divorce.
There was lots of arguing. They were unable to come to a mutual agreement with respect to the finances that had been accumulated during the course of the marriage.
The police want to talk to Doug Fuller right away.
It's now well after midnight, so you're talking 16 hours after we have discovered the body. We wake him up to break the news to him.
Doug Fuller confirms what the police have already been told about his divorce.
The victim in this instance was looking for more than the ex-husband felt he was able to provide. And he was angry at her for that. Clearly, he had a motive for it.
The investigators ask for Fuller's whereabouts on the night of the murder. He says he was at home watching TV.
We started to ask him, what TV shows did you watch? Well, I was channel surfing. He was very vague in being able to provide us exactly what he had done, other than he was at home alone. Of course, that raises some suspicions for us.
Doug Fuller also turns out to be an avid gun collector.
The fact that he had access to firearms, it raises his ranking within the persons of interest category.
Police send Fuller's guns to forensics for analysis. When the guns cannot be linked to the bullets that killed Kathy Fuller, investigators realize they have lost their only suspect. 72 hours into the investigation, police release information about the case to the media. A woman comes forward with a story they hope will lead them to the killer. Brampton police still have no idea who killed social worker Kathy Fuller. After they ask the public for help, a local beautician comes forward. She tells investigators something strange happened to her near the crime scene on the night of the murder.
She had been driving home from work and had occasion to follow a vehicle. It appears to be being driven by a female. But what she says is in the back seat there is a male. And the vehicle would speed up, then slow down, then speed up, then slow down. At one point in time while she's following the vehicle, the gentleman in the back seat looks at her and he had a look in his eyes that struck fear in her heart. And she's an excellent witness. She actually provides me with a license plate for the vehicle. I get one of the other officers in the office to run the vehicle, and this vehicle comes back to an individual by the name of Robin Graves.
But the name Robin Graves means nothing to investigators.
It was a case of, okay, this is interesting information. It may be of some value. We will keep it in mind, but it goes on the back burner while we continue forward, and there may be a connection at some point down the line.
With no leads to go on, the detectives decide to re-interview Kathy Fuller's tenant, Jason Hutchison.
We start to look at, has she had any problems with tenants? Experience tells us that sometimes when you're renting out things on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis, these people sometimes are not always the easiest to get along with.
Hutchison says Fuller had a pair of particularly difficult tenants, Wayne Jones and Lourdes de Guzman. Their marriage was in trouble.
The tenant tells us that earlier in the summer, Wayne Jones left de Guzman to start a relationship with another female.
Hutchison says once Jones moved out, de Guzman stopped paying the rent. Fuller evicted her.
Now, that upsets her a lot. Lourdes de Guzman was prone to having a huge temper. and was not afraid to go toe-to-toe with other individuals or speak her mind.
Police wonder if de Guzman was angry enough to commit murder. Lourdes de Guzman has no criminal record, but her adulterous husband, Wayne Jones, does. One recent occurrence gets the investigators' attention. An officer asked Jones why he was loitering outside a women's shelter.
The officer indicated that Mr. Jones was at a female shelter in Mississauga, and that he was there waiting for his friend, Robin Graves.
Robin Graves owns the car seen near the crime scene on the night of the murder. Could Wayne Jones have been the man in the back seat? Detectives need to find out more about Wayne Jones. Jason Hutchison tells police that a week before the murder, he accompanied Jones to a Brampton strip joint where the two of them watched Jones' girlfriend, Robin Graves, perform. Investigators think Hutchison is holding something back.
I mean, you get to that point too, where you just say to them, well, will you just knock it off and like get to the point and give us the whole story, you know?
Hutchison finally explains why he's been so reluctant to come clean.
He was terrified of Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones had described himself as a career criminal, basically.
Jones had told him in the past that he, in fact, had killed 12 people, and he was not afraid to kill a couple more.
Hutchison says Jones' girlfriend is just as scary.
Graves had often discussed it would be interesting to see what it would be like to kill somebody. That if she killed somebody, perhaps that would be quite a thrill. During the course of the times that he had met with them, he had seen the butt of a handgun down Jones's waistband.
Detectives need to know whether Jones and Graves made Kathy Fuller their target.
So we decided we're gonna go full tilt with this thing and immediately put 24 hours a day, 7-day-a-week surveillance on Mr. Jones and Robin Graves.
Police watch Graves do something very suspicious on a freezing cold December morning.
Their desire to want to clean the car tells us there's going to be some forensic evidence inside the vehicle that's going to be key to solving this murder.
Officers have to get inside Graves' car.
So what we do is, during the course of the night, we're looking to seize the vehicle to do a forensic examination on it without their knowledge.
Officers froze the vehicle, marked how it was parked, and then rolled it out of the driveway and rolled it down the street and started it up some distance away from the house and then drove it to the forensic examination bay.
Didn't take long. He just opened the door and looked at the passenger side of the vehicle, and it was immediately obvious there was a large pool of blood had settled immediately under the passenger seat.
Investigators collect blood samples to be analyzed for DNA. Before they return the car, they plant a recording device inside it.
That was probably one of the most unique methods of investigation I'd ever seen. It essentially involved the police stealing a car and putting it back, but legally.
The lab confirms that the blood found under the passenger seat belongs to the victim. Police now know where the murder took place, but there are plenty of things they don't know.
We also are looking to find out what the individual roles for these people are during the course of the murder.
Undercover officers follow Graves and Jones the next day. The suspects don't discuss the murder, but the surveillance pays off.
They drive out on a rural road north of Brampton. They throw something out of the car, and they drive off. And members of the surveillance team stop in the area, and they identify a bag that they have thrown out.
Inside the bag, police find a .22 caliber pistol and some ammunition.
When the gun is sent down to the Center of Forensic Sciences, inside the barrel of the gun, we find the victim's blood.
Investigators have the murder weapon and 2 suspects. All they need to do now is figure out who pulled the trigger and why. Police now believe Wayne Jones and Robin Graves shot and killed Kathy Fuller and dumped her body in Brampton's El Dorado Park. Detectives watch Jones meet up with someone they don't expect.
On Saturday, which is now 13 days after the fact, we have Wayne Jones go out in Robin Graves' car, and he picks up Lourdes de Guzman.
Police wonder what Jones wants from his ex-wife. They use the bugs they planted in Graves' car to listen in on the conversation.
He's extremely nervous about the ongoing police investigation. And he's gone to her for some consolation.
And then a bit of an argument started up between Wayne Jones and Lourdes de Guzman. She was going on about she didn't want to get in trouble for the things that he may have done.
Jones decides it's time he told his wife what he's done.
And he went on to tell her, put the gun to her head, and I went boom. And then I went boom again. And I said, you messed with my wife, and I went boom again. So boom, 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 3 shots.
There was a lot of bravado about what he had done. And in fact, he was trying to portray it as he had done this as a result of the way that the victim had treated de Guzman when she was evicted. He was in fact her knight in shining armor and did this for her. She was shocked. It was clear that this was the first time that he had ever confessed to her exactly what had happened.
Police arrest Jones and Graves the following day.
Jones was ordered to the floor where he was handcuffed and then told he was under arrest for murder.
They charge Robin Graves as an accomplice. They also charge Lourdes de Guzman as an accessory after the fact.
They were interviewed in different rooms, actually in different parts of the same building.
De Guzman stands by her husband.
She refuses to acknowledge that Jones has confessed to her. She was still madly in love with him and was prepared to do whatever she could to protect him.
Wayne Jones has nothing to say.
He was very narcissistic, very egocentric, and basically didn't give anything up.
Robin Graves is the one who must now be persuaded to talk.
And that was prompted by the playing of several interceptions of Jones speaking to de Guzman, which revealed that they still had an ongoing relationship.
Graves discovers she's been played all along. She now knows she was an accomplice in a murder solely to defend the honor of Jones' ex-wife.
That made her extremely upset, and then the cat was out of the bag.
Graves agrees to tell police what happened on the night of the murder. She says that when Jones came by the strip joint to pick her up, he told her he had an exciting evening planned. There was somebody he needed to take care of. He told her to call Kathy Fuller about renting a room. When Fuller left work that evening, Jones and Graves were waiting for her.
Wayne Jones was hiding in the back seat. She got into the car, sat down in the passenger seat, and as they pulled away, Wayne Jones got up from the back seat, put the gun to the side of her head, and pulled the trigger. Graves indicates that she was freaking out to some degree at that point, but she was being directed by Jones on where to go.
Graves says Jones told her to go to El Dorado Park.
Now that ties in with what we're told by the woman who had left work when she sees this person with the eerie-looking face look at her from the back window of the car.
Within minutes of the murder, the beautician had Graves' license plate number. Within 72 hours, the police had it as well.
Graves may not have been sure about where she was or where she was going at that point, but ultimately she describes arriving. And the two of them pulling the body from the car, pulling it over the fence and dumping it in the bush area.
Jones concealed the body and stole Fuller's identification. Then he and Graves fled the scene. Given what Robin Graves has just told them, police now know Kathy Fuller was killed by the very same people she spent her life trying to help. In the end, Lourdes de Guzman cooperated with police. The charges against her were dropped. Robin Graves was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 7 years in prison. Wayne Jones got life in prison for murder in the first degree. The stories on 72 Hours are true. The detectives and forensic scientists are the ones who actually worked on the case.